Kanye West is reportedly trying to trademark the rights to the word "use" for his new company and plans to incorporate the phrase in everything from financial services to entertainment to real estate.
Don't you think it's kind of bad timing on this one?
In which way?
I mean, a financial services company called YEWS run the banks.
I mean, I don't really see the connection, but I guess Kanye's new company and what just happened are both Jewish-adjacent news.
I mean, have you read this? It says he wants to have an army of you landlords.
Yeah, it's a real estate company. I mean, listen, I know the words rhyme, but I don't think everything's about Jews. Listen, I have sympathy.
Yeah, I mean, it says right here, we have you managers, you agents, you lawyers.
I mean, it's a company. Yeah, they're going to have some employees.
And he's very excited about use central banking and usury. Come on, he's starting his own central bank?
Yeah, I don't want to say you're projecting here, but maybe you're being a little sensitive. I mean, people are allowed to start an agency.
It says here his plan is for YEWS to take over Hollywood and fashion, and his first product is YEWS hooked nose sunglasses. What even is that?
I mean, you don't have a monopoly on sunglass manufacturing.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I mean, the word Jew rhymes with you. Yes, it also rhymes with blue and clue. And if you go to Britain and the girl says she wants to go to the loo, are you going to take that as a personal dig? If she dates a guy named Lou, is that problematic now too?
Okay, what about this? Sinus spray for use by use. He's selling sinus spray now?
I mean, I don't really get where you're going with this. Is the price an issue? Is that it?
What is that supposed to mean? And now they want to do an advertising campaign with the copy, use or cheap. Come on.
They want to be competitive.
Look, there's no way the actual YEWS are going to let this happen.
The boys. It's the BOYSCAST. The lads. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST. The bros. It's the BOYSCAST. The homies. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Experience the BOYSCAST. The BOYSCAST.
And if you're looking for wholesome, convenient meals for this jam-packed fall season, get Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, and get eating well off your to-do list in just 2 minutes. Get 50% off Factor with the code BOYSCAST50 at factormeals.com/BOYSCAST50. Before we start this BOYSCAST, I bring you the man dripping in sniz like you've never seen before.
Women have more brain cells than men. Women have more brain cells than men. I tried to find a study that said that wasn't true, so I found a second study. They not only have more brain cells, they have more brain cells in the gray matter. They have an increased capacity to process information. And this is the area of the brain where authenticity and frequency stems from.
Yeah.
Women have more power to affect the universe around them than
Then why don't they?
Do you think
that was maybe the vaguest thing I've ever heard? He goes, they have more frequency. He goes, is that quantifiable in any way?
This guy finished that sentence. He just lined. The girls just lined up, and he just sat there unzipped, and they one by one just came and sucked him off.
Not all at once, ladies. Was that a TED Talk?
I think that guy was doing a TED.
That's so funny because I just listened to the Coleman Hughes thing.
If you're wondering what TEDx has been up to lately,
they're like, Coleman Hughes not allowed to talk, and then this guy's like, women. Hold on. Women are smarter than men. Oh, what?
Women are. They're smarter than men. They're better than men. They have more frequency than men. This guy is bathing in it, though, right now.
And there's just the one guy in the audience who's just like, in the audience who's just watching it, being like, they just pan to his seat. And he's like,
that guy is fucking taking it. The guy that had to come to watch that's taking it on the chin, eh? The girls are probably get out of that thing real hyped up. They're just pushing that and anyone in the hallway.
He goes, first Barbie, now this, huh? God.
The girls just walk out of there and punch a dude in the face. Calls her dad, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. So
that's good shit.
That girls are going back to their work demanding promotions. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, they deserve them.
I want to raise how much? Double what you're
getting.
I
mean, I'm twice as smart as you, so I should make.
You want double? You're making $50,000 a year. You want to make $100,000 a year? You're a cashier. He goes, no, I want double what you're making. I
want double the CEO pay.
I think I misspoke.
Please.
That's what's happening. That has inspired me to support Cenk Unger for 2024. By the way, before we get into the thick of it, I was gonna say
he's wildin', Cenk
Unger. He is a little bit wildin'.
Yeah.
But Snoop Dogg. I've said this kind of before that he'll do any commercial, but his new one. If you go through TikTok, I saw back-to-back Snoop Dogg commercials, and it's all just like yo, fashionism my nizzle. That's why I support Charmin toilet paper. He's like, and I'm on the bunch, and you got the crunch. And it's like every single thing.
Oh, you're saying that Snoop Dogg is not a principled artist?
My point is,
he's sold out, if you will.
It's kind of you know, like you always hear that like black guys hold each other accountable more, and in some degrees it's true. Like black guys can never wear a dress or they would get killed, right? But the one difference is I feel like white guys hold themselves way more accountable on like doing corny shit. But I think that they maybe have like a Snoop Dogg has sort of a thing. It's like, yeah, I'm getting paid.
Yeah,
it's like somehow cool. Like if you think of like Travis Barker, and that's not even Blink-182 is the most coolest band or whatever, but like if Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day was like, if you scroll through TikTok and it was like back to back, like, you know, him being like, hey, I'm Billy Joe Armstrong. If you're hurt in a car, call Bill.
yeah.
But Snoop Dogg seems to get away with just like
Snoop Dogg would literally be in like a Raytheon commercial if they paid him enough money.
He'd be everything, dude. He literally goes, is your plumbing having a problem? Tell him the dog sent you. The dog plumbing.
Yeah, like they're getting it for just like local commercials, like some just like independent plumber.
They are, dude. I can't remember the one I saw last. It was legitimately like for dental floss or something. The stuff he does, I'm telling you, I don't think anyone I know could get away with that. But Snoop Dogg, he still goes on everything as like the cool guy.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's taking it away from him, I guess.
I think the code for rappers is if you're getting paid, it's okay.
Yeah, because they got their. I mean, he's literally money on my mind.
Because if you
mind on my money,
and
that's money on my mind,
and that's sort of the difference between like white comedians. I think when you're kind of saying like, oh, my whole deal is I'm like goofy to some degree, or I'm not trying to be serious, or I'm not trying to like affect social change necessarily. No one really gets as mad at you when you wear a dress because it's funny, right?
Because it's all just under the guise of goofiness.
Yeah, if you're a black guy and you wear a dress, you get very hit on it. It's like you let the man like tell you what to do. You can't just be like, I don't know, I thought it was funny. He's like, nah, they got to you.
Yeah.
He's like this bitch. And where Snoop Dogg would be the guy being like, you know, these motherfuckers be out there wearing a dress anyways. Support Dr. Scholl's like bunion remover. And somehow that's okay.
Yeah, he's doing an ad for high fructose corn syrup.
It really is. Okay, so
good on him. Good for getting that bag, Snoop.
I gotta say one quick thing. If you're I have a thing on the Patreon for the $50 tier people that I said I'd put their names in sketches, and I had a big list of the 3 that I was gonna do, and I just lost it, and then they messaged me and I lost it again. So if that's you, send me a message on the Patreon. I'm such an idiot, dude. I scoured my notes trying to find whose name it was, and I released a video today. I was gonna put one of the names, and then
I can't find it.
No, I'm an idiot. But so, anyways, hit me up if that was you. And I scoured all my notes.
You should do one where like, I'm a queer for Palestine. Anyway,
I don't think they care. I usually ask them like, would you care if it was a certain thing? No, because it's funny even if it is something bad like that. Yeah. But also catch me in Kansas City and Omaha next week. Then Edmonton, Los Angeles, Irvine. Los Angeles sold out, so we had another one. San Jose, Phoenix, Toronto, Perrysburg, Columbus, Liberty, Dallas, Baltimore, Winnipeg, San Jose, London. Both them sold out, which is insane.
London.
Gonna add like a bigger one too, and then Oslo, Amsterdam, and some other places in the UK that I can't remember off the tip of my head.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna be in Saratoga Springs next weekend.
Saratoga Springs, if you're listening
again.
It's gonna be that.
I was there like 4 months ago.
Yo, you know what it is, man. You got to come out to the Springs.
The spring.
Now listen. I'm not here to make jokes about all the stuff that just happened. You know what I mean? Some serious business. Well, I'm not here to say that Israel is Republicans Ukraine. I'm not here to take shots like that. Has anyone said that they should have a Gaza strip club?
The Gaza Strip. I think I have, maybe.
Has that happened? Is there a Jewish strip club called the Gaza Strip, or would that be then they are? Is there a Palestinian
Jewish
strip club?
Sounds like hell on earth.
For the strippers.
Yeah. For everybody. Why you don't want another lap dance? How much are they? $20. I do 2 for $30.
How much is the lap dance? It's $20 for half an hour. $10. $5 for a strip club dance.
Sounds like
Drake makes it rain though.
Drake does make it rain, yeah.
Right? Have the black Israelites waited on everything that's happening.
Half of him, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, if he was, did they let him in the black Israelites? Because technically, do you know what I mean? Do they, because he's black.
I think his mom would not.
He's like, yeah, I'm a black Jew. And they're like, no, it's not what we meant.
That kind.
You know that's not what we mean, Drake.
We should go trek up to Harlem and and check in on the Black Israelites.
Yeah, are they liking
that was
this
literally,
or not liking this?
This happened, and that was my literal first thought.
Danny's Twitter. I recommend going over and checking on Danny's Twitter because it's really
while it's still
on one. I had a lot of people. We had a group chat too, but other people messaged that you're on being funny.
Yeah, I'm cooking. Yeah.
You were sort of cooking.
My mom wasn't.
I'm not gonna say with gas, but you were cooking.
Yeah, I was cooking.
So
cooking so hot I got kicked off of Instagram temporarily.
Did you check what any of the Black Israelites were up to?
Nah, no, they're pretty silent on this. I don't know. I do follow some on Twitter actually, but I don't know. They haven't weighed in. But I guess that
they must like it. I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I guess. Yeah, because I guess the way they see it is if Hamas wins and Palestine wins. I guess like if that's the ideal goal here is like what, just they kill every Jew in Israel and then it's just all theirs again.
But it wouldn't be theirs. It would be Palestine's and the Black.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Palestine. That's what I'm saying. They're saying like Palestine wins and then the Black Hebrew Israel. It's like we can go back and then.
Well, Palestine might not want them back either.
Yeah,
they might be in for a little bit of a surprise of what Palestinians think of black guys.
They show up there. They go, "What? There's no black people here?" You go, "Yeah, that's what we've been trying to tell you."
By design, yeah. The Jews are probably, if you want.
I mean, there are black people there, but
no, but I'm saying
they're Jews.
Jewish people are probably more like Israel people are probably more down with African Americans than Palestinians.
Yeah.
Hard to say. They all seem to like Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Yeah,
the Muslim dudes.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I'm not sure exactly.
God really did screw you guys by putting that piece of land that's the Holy Land in the worst spot in the world, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I screwed who? I guess I don't even know.
Everyone. It's just constant
I think they should just literally kick everybody out.
no,
turn it into
Israel for anybody.
Literally turn it into an amusement park. Be like, because it's all the whole point is like it's all these historical sites. So we're like, okay, we're gonna put up some like ticketing booths. You can come visit it, like for like pay $5.
You're saying
come check it out. The mosque, all the stuff, the Christian stuff, the Jewish stuff, the Muslim stuff.
Do you think any Jews were like, you're like, kick everyone out, and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? And then we charge admission. Okay,
The Jews are like, I'll hear you out. I wasn't totally on board with this, but I didn't know that there was revenue streams involved.
I'll hear you out.
Surely there has to be like a fucking piece of land that they can all just like. I used to do a joke.
They want that one though. What if they moved that piece of land somewhere else? Where they go, we're taking Israel. They airlift Israel to somewhere else.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
I used to do a joke about it, but I'm like, they should just like kick them all out, make it like a reality show. Just kick them all out. Find it, dude. I looked it up. Israel, the entirety of Israel is 8,500 square miles. Small. It's like probably
really.
like the very tip of like southern Ontario, It's
crazy.
Like tiny place. Just like move them like not that far over, kick them all out.
But the Bible says that's a spot though, right?
Well, they can't sort it out, so
oh, well,
tough shit. I don't know.
Back to normal.
Well, you guys can't figure it out, so tough shit.
Well,
now y'all live in fucking Africa.
I was laughing about people not being able to figure out their statements. I did a video about it, but it was like it really is. You've never seen, whenever Israel Palestine comes along, you never see more people that are just like they know exactly what to say. They have all the stances. They've never missed posting a square. And then this one, they're just like, no, there's no real answer that you get no flack for them.
For sure. Oh yeah, the best is because the thing I'm like, do you have to put like I saw like The Rock put out a statement and
he does. Yeah, I saw that too.
And I'm like, do you have to put out a statement if you're
it's
The
interesting,
Rock?
right?
Like does like
informal.
Yeah, like a formal statement from The Rock, like Rock Inc. I guess it is because it's like at this point it's Rock Inc.
I guess you do have
so you're
to.
like he has to, and then all the Palestine people are like, we're so disappointed in you, Rock. You're like, what side did you think The Rock was taking?
Right?
Are you crazy?
Yeah, you think The Rock's an idiot?
Yeah, like I mean, not even. You're just like, what side do you think? You think The Rock is going to just torpedo his whole fucking career by being like, I stand with Palestine? Like he could have stood with Palestine previously when it was like a little more nebulous, but you're like
The Rock, even his pro-Israel stance was very like cryptic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got a.
It was very, there's bad stuff happening.
Yeah,
we need to
very fine people on both sides. That's my favorite thing right now is literally everybody who gave Trump shit for very fine people on both sides. Like literally all these liberals who are like the very fine people on both sides are now like, can we all just think about that? There's good people on both sides now. You go, all right. Well,
there was the smartest stance that people made. Like I think probably the smartest one is it was the word equivalent of like,
Yeah.
What? Terrible.
Yeah.
Which part? Just all of it.
Yeah, it's all terrible.
Which is the actual truth.
Yeah,
it is all terrible.
It is all terrible. It's like, dude, it's literally like this most unwinnable thing. Like,
Yeah. So just a couple funny things, but I do want to talk about it. But probably the thing that was in some way, I guess it was by design too, but it was just making me laugh, the idea that Ben Shapiro,
that's so good.
that when it happened, it was on like a Jewish holiday, so he couldn't tweet, to the point where like people that work there had to be like, just so you know, like he can't tweet
And he doesn't know about this other than rumors. That was another thing.
He must have been going crazy.
That I'm gonna say I don't believe he
either.
like just happened. Someone definitely, you know.
Do they get people to turn their taps on? You don't think he was getting the info?
Yeah, exactly.
The
you don't think
information
someone
tab
was just like, hey, you know, like someone just held Twitter up for him while he's like,
who's reading it to him? Probably
not scrolling it now.
He was having a meltdown, probably, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess.
Dude, can you imagine not being able to tweet like right then?
Dude, he was probably just staring at the fucking sun.
Clock?
No, the sun, because it's all based on the sun going down. So he's just like staring, just burning into his eyes, just waiting for it to go down, just like a psychopath, just direct staring at the sun.
I thought you kind of had the right sort of opinion on it. I guess bad way of saying that, but there was this vibe of like, even if you were super pro-Palestine, it was just like, what do you think's happening now?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I didn't get with people. You know, and you know what I thought of? It was kind of the analogy of, because even if you see it as like, hey, you know, these are occupiers, this is Palestinian land, it was like, it kind of reminds, even if you see it as like, hey, this is the protagonist in the film that's finally standing up to the bully.
Yeah, the freedom fighter.
Yeah, like that's how your worldview is. You go, finally, this is like payback, even though maybe you wouldn't have liked the way they did it, but this is payback. You go, the protagonist in the that stands up to the bully and comes up and punches the bully in the face. Like in the real world, what happens next is that fucking nerd gets sent to the hospital by the bully.
He gets his fucking teeth kicked.
He gets his teeth kicked in. And then also in this thing, you have to remember that, and kind of in this one, the nerd also doesn't stop with the bully. If the nerd punches the bully, he needs the bully's family dead. And then now he's a school shooter, essentially, because he's like, he didn't want to just punch the bully. It's like that bully's whole bloodline's got to go down, right?
Pretty much.
And then what happens is the nerd gets sent to the hospital, and then you're the guy that encouraged your friend to go punch the bully, and now he has his legs broken, and you're just like, oh, I don't know. You have to go to the hospital visit and be like, got that punch in.
Yeah, but then I mean, I guess the best analogy though is that you go be like, see, these monsters broke his legs, and then like, because that's kind of like what I guess one strategy or one theory about this is that like Hamas basically does this stuff, Israel responds like disproportionately, and then Israel looks bad. Basically.
Which is kind of true, right? And then America spends a lot of money and bankrupts themselves more.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, the World War III people who are like, you know, who are with the Ukraine-Russia stuff is like, this is technically a one step closer in that direction, because you're now like have a second war happening on a different front, and and now if you have like China, Taiwan, like China might be like, well, we can definitely take Taiwan right now.
Now you have three.
Well, because you're like assuming that people are going to intervene. You're like, well, you can't intervene in 3 wars at once. You're like, you're spread too thin.
Watch them try.
They're not going. Well, I guess they would seem that would be China's response to be like, I guess you could try, but like it'll just be difficult. You're not going to really be able to do that. So at this point, and then at the same time, America is the weakest financially it's been in a very long time, right? Like, dude, like I was talking to that guy Clint or whatever, but like, you know, they announced, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, they go, it was when we were at Skankfest, where they're like, the national debt just hit 33 trillion. It's like, it's already at 34 trillion. You're like, they've already just, they're fucking just printing money right now. Like, unprecedented amount. And, you know, I guess everybody, the modern monetary theory people are like, I guess we'll see how far this can go, but you assume there must be some breaking point.
You're sort of more in that camp, but you're still thinking it's hitting the threshold.
I mean, surely there must be a threshold. Right. There must be some limit. There can't be like infinite money printing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I mean, I guess some people disagree.
Well, they all find one other place. They go, Japan's got a higher debt to GDP ratio.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's no question. Like I'm
in the camp that
inflation is like, you know, very real. Like when I go buy groceries now, you're just like, sometimes I can't even fucking believe it. And I mean, I go steal groceries.
No.
I called it too when I don't know if how much you noticed this, but I called it like right when the Russia stuff happened and the inflation, but like the shrinkflation is crazy. Like literally everything.
I know. I looked down. I was 7 inches.
Everything costs more now, and there's like just less of it. Like if you go look at anything you buy, you're just like the packaging's all smaller.
Yeah, that is kind of true.
But it's all slightly more expensive as well. Yeah. So, anyways,
there's not good things all around.
Yeah,
with
it's
this
just like
happening.
a lot of it, and then you got fucking Sleepy Joe at the wheel. So, although I also
this is him running the money printer. That's him pressing his hand on the money printer.
Yeah.
They just let him sleep and they put the nightcap near the money
No,
printer.
he nods off.
Yeah, you wake up and he's another trillion. Oops, I fell asleep.
The only thing I was
fell
thinking
asleep
of
on the money
because
printer.
you know everybody's like this wouldn't you don't want Trump in charge, like nobody would do this under Trump, and you're like, who would you rather have, like this kind of bully in Trump or like a dude who's literally senile?
Trump for sure.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying maybe the senile guy's like more of a wild card. You're like, who knows what the senile
you're saying
guy's-
from the other side.
You're like, at least you could kind of have a model of what Trump's gonna do, whereas like you have this senile guy. you're
Sleepy
like,
Joe
shit.
might actually attack the wrong country by
Yeah,
accident.
like the range of options for Joe Biden are actually greater. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually like there's more potential. So, anyways, we should,
Oh no, we just printed another trillion. What happened? Sleepy Joe fell asleep on the printer.
Sleepy Joe, man.
Yeah, he wakes up at the he's at the International Monetary Fund. Sleepy Joe just sleepwalks into the Federal Reserve because he's got the scan code for everything. Or it's all the eye scan codes, right? So he's just like, and then he's walking into the International Monetary Fund. Adds an extra
It's
zero.
basically Mr. Magoo. It's Mr. Magoo's in
Adds
charge.
an extra zero to how much they're printing.
Happens.
No, they're ordering, like, he's just ordering drone strikes by accident all over the place. You're just,
Yeah, but anyways, I thought at first when this first happened, I go, maybe this will be like one of those little quick flare-ups, but
I guess when you know that in the chess where you have the hindsight bias, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's also sort of when everyone's discussing it, it always gets back to the things where people go, what they should do or what this shouldn't do. And it was like, regardless of what you think, the situation now.
yeah, of course, yeah, for sure. Like with you go with like, well, Israel, that shouldn't be their land. You're like, well, it is. And you know, I mean, look, someone said it. I can't remember this guy. I can't remember what his name is on Twitter, but he said it very well. But he's essentially like, you know, if Americans were in this, like if right-wing Americans were in the same position as the Palestinians, it's like they would fight, you know, twice as hard. Like they would do way crazier shit, you know? Like it's just, it's like there's just people are in tough spots. Like it's not like, you know, I think it's very important to understand like other sides of the thing, and they're kind of just like under a kind of crappy government that maybe doesn't have their best interest.
Definitely. But yeah, and then you go the other side. If you were Israel, like if you put yourself in a situation where it kind of shows, like it's just where stuff goes, right? You see, like even in the where it's like, hey, let's you can't censor this, or we need more women in this. Like there is no end to it. So it is kind of, if you're Israel, you're like, well, what would you do? I guess you're like, okay, let me just try to barricade them out a bit, and you're like,
yeah, I mean, like
what are you gonna do?
the
Just
most
be like, hey,
liberal
you can have
argument
it.
would be like, hey, end all the blockades, right? Like they'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
like take down the wall in the Gaza Strip,
and then would that lead
like,
to something worse in the future?
Yeah, I mean, well, it'll just like
More of
it's
this?
one of those things where, you know, I guess they're not wanting to test out that hypothesis, but you're like, okay, say we do that, we just like open it up to them. And again, like they have another border on the Egypt side. Like it's not like Egypt's like, yo, come on in here. Like Egypt doesn't want them in there either.
Yeah, right.
Like, so it's not even like specifically Israel thing, but you're like, look, take down the wall. I can't imagine they're like, oh, thanks for removing the wall, we can just live in peace now.
It doesn't really shake down like that.
No, it's like they'll just have all these problems that will result in the wall getting put back up.
It's sort of a different one than Ukraine too, because like Israel can probably tune up Palestine people pretty good without anyone's help.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they don't have really like much of a, you know, military. Israeli military is way more advanced. You know, they get. I mean, it's crazy that they still get money from America. Considering
Yeah, I know.
it's like they don't. I mean, it's not crazy actually. It's obviously like America does it for America's interest.
Allegedly. Well, some people argue that's not the case. But.
Well, what does Israel need the money for? It's not even a % of their GDP that they get. Like, they don't need the money. That's why I always like, because everybody's always like, yeah, Israel, America should stop giving them the money. I'm like, they should stop giving them the money. Like, Israel doesn't need it. It's $3 billion a year. Israel's GDP is like literally, I don't know, 300 whatever. Like they
have money.
It's a drop in the bucket for them. Is
it like a show of good faith? Is that what it is?
No, it's like
why is America giving everyone money all the time?
They're not giving everyone money, but it's like for America, I mean, this is how I feel about it. It was just like it's in America's interest. This is like a 51st state for them.
And then they get to say like, hey, we gave you money, so you owe us a little something maybe.
They're like, it's generally people in that region of the world that are hostile towards America. Like most of those countries are like not, even if they're
so we can have
friends.
we can have our we can have our intelligence there. We can have
of course. It's like strategically beneficial to America.
And the argument against
Israel
that is that it isn't.
I guess, but I don't know how that could be. How anybody would say it's not beneficial. I think people are just like people in America are like, why are we giving $3 billion to Israel? They're just like, why do they need the money? And I'm just like, I agree, they don't need the money. I think they should do it because it's a strategic like decision by America.
Okay,
that's at least my feeling on it. I'm like, I don't know, because Israel doesn't need the money. That's for sure. Like if any person lost 1% of their net worth, they would not notice it. Like nobody is that tight where like 1% is making any difference.
Yeah,
it's like.
Especially when you can print money and take loans and all that sort of
stuff.
That
even too, but like I don't know. So
it's kind of there's a lot of like, just wild takes or whatever. But the thing that to me was I noticed a lot of girls just like have their sort of natural inclination like in our industries to be like Palestine, because it kind of became it's just you naturally you're just like who's less white, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's kind of the natural thing, but. It also was, I was just like, imagine those girls.
I mean, people like an underdog story for sure.
Of course. But you go, if you were here, it was the same thing though. If you're like, we're on stolen land or whatever, it's like, okay, well, imagine that like actually took it to its full extent. And then the natives started like taking it back. And then there was Coachella and all the, like, would you be happy about that? And they're like, well, everyone likes like their position in theory almost, it feels like, you know what I mean?
Well, especially when it's like on the other side of the world and like
that's
impacts
exactly
you
what
like
it is.
Zero. But like, I mean, there's so many flaws in all those arguments because everybody is, all the same people who are like, the colonizers, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, well, but yeah, you're only using, you start at 1948.
Well, it all depends on where you start, right?
Right, exactly. You're like, why does like in America, it starts at, whatever, 14, whenever Columbus came over, that's where we started here. But then you're like, at this one, you go, no, we start that one in 1948. And you're like, all right, well.
You're very, very picky.
Very picky and choosing.
Well, you sort of pointed this out, but it is the breakdown of intersectionality is really.
Oh, this is because that dude, when you have like this is pretty current or whatever, but like when you have at first people are like freedom fighters, and then like stuff started to come out, and then people are like, well, that's not true, and then it's like okay, that is true, and then they're just like. Shit, like there are like bad stuff's coming out, and then like the people who are like for it are like now rooting against the stuff being true, and then it comes out and they're like,
of course, yeah,
like shit, and then they're like, damn it, and yeah, for sure, it's that's nice to see.
You're just seeing a lot of people have just mental breakdowns about it. Like Sarah Silverman has been, well, she's, but it's
fuck did she expect?
That's what I'm saying is like you're kind of realizing you're just like so the people that you're like rolling with or whatever. So they were right about everything except for this. It was like no, it's the ideology that's against you, but it's like. I think it's almost like convenient when it's against white people, but then but then when it's against Jews, you're like, well, I don't like that one. And you're just like, the whole ideology is whoever is the more powerful one's the bad one. That's in every scenario.
Yeah.
So you go,
regardless of like what is happening.
And I think what their problem is some of these people are just like, no, we're not the powerful one here. And everyone's just like, you are though.
Yeah, you are though. And they go, but I marched with you. And they go, yeah, we don't
right.
Shit about that. Are you kidding?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are having meltdowns here, and it is very much of like a breakdown of that sort of stuff. Like a lot of
nice to watch.
Liberal Jewish people are finding out that it's like that Jewish card don't go too far.
All their brothers in arms are not exactly not exactly on their side. Yeah.
I get it when anyone's like, if you're Jewish and you're just like, even if you don't really have a good argument, if you're just reflexively pro-Jewish, or if you're like Muslim and you're just reflexively pro-Palestine, it's like, I get that because you just go, well, I'm rooting for the ones that's me. I mean, at that point, you're rooting for the Leafs over the
because
Habs.
Like, it's not like the Muslim world, like is super receptive to the Palestinians specifically.
So, but I'm talking about more in North America. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They probably just see it as all like us.
Yeah,
Browns,
like a lot of
right?
in the Muslim world are exactly. But like a lot of people in the Muslim world are like they're like those Palestinians are kind of like troublemakers. Like it's not like
it's like in India. They have everyone fighting.
Like it's funny because everybody's like the Jews have been kicked out of everywhere, but like so have the Palestinians.
Interesting.
Like they've also been kicked out of everywhere. Like they're. It's not like anybody wants them either. So it's kind of. I don't know. I obviously like if you're Palestinian, I fully expect.
So you're saying everyone in that area? It's kind of like the bad kids. Your parents don't really want to.
The island of broken toys. Everybody's just been given the boot. You know?
So they've both been kicked out of a lot of places.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, so
there is a lot of white people, like the academics. Academics never like to see their theories have to get tested in the real world. But you've seen a lot of them when it's like, what did you think decolonization meant? Like, you think they were just going to sign a contract and get their land back? This is what it looks like. You know, it's some nerdy 60-year-old lesbian teacher posting that or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is just funny watching when white people just have like such a fantasy about being wiped out, you know, because they have to play when they do have to play the things out. And people have said like, okay, so if the natives came here and be like, well, yeah, and whatever happened to me, that would be my fate.
But you're like, also, you're not doing anything. Like all those people could be doing something right now for the indigenous population of the country they live in, instead of fantasizing about indigenous population that's technically not even indigenous,
killing some other people.
Yeah, in some other country.
I think they have fantasies about it with themselves too, though. They have like that's their like fantasy. Like the natives come in and like, you know, kill their husband and rape them, and they go, I deserve this.
Yeah.
I think
it is really funny though that like with all the talk of like, you know, the Jews being in charge of the media and manipulating it, they sure did a shitty job of not making themselves like the fucking devil.
Well, I think the reason for that in some degree is the same as censorship, and it's the same as, you know, you could probably say feminism or whatever. It's like when you jam shit down people's throats, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. It's interfering with markets like is hard, even thought markets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Markets where the thoughts are.
Markets where the thoughts are. That seems like a lucrative market. I'll tell my Jewish friends about that.
The thought market.
The thought market. That's it.
Well, okay, I'll tell you, this is what I have one thing, and we're in some group chats too. One thing that I think that the Jewish people are wrong about, and you can tell me your opinion on this.
Sure.
I've watched a lot of people that I know that are even smart being like, this is what anti-Semitism's always bubbling underneath, and like this is, you see the true face when something like this happens. But to me, I think that's somewhat incorrect. What I actually think is that you're just white and you're the the same people that are saying anti-Semitism is like, you know, you could see how bad the anti-Semitism is.
Yeah.
I'm like, if this was a white country and a brown country, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would see the exact same thing, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
Okay, so I think people are like, everyone's cheering for like dead Jews because they're anti-Semitic, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's none of that, but like,
there's some of it, for sure.
But yes, the overarching thing to me is more, when I see it with people, I'm like, I don't see them being anti-Semitic. I see them as cheering for the brown people. Against what they see as like white oppressors or Jewish oppressors.
For the underdog, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I agree with that.
So it's like,
but the
I guess
thing
you can call it racism, but it's like almost, it's racism, but really it's really what it is just like, no matter what, undying support for who's less powerful.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it's more of like a commie sort of intuition than it is anti-Semitism.
Yeah. But some of it is like, I mean, again, there is some fraction of people who don't like Jews, and it's that for them. But yeah, I agree. It's not like blanket anti-Semitism when people support the Jews.
Yeah.
Or support the Palestinians or whatever. No, I don't think that.
But I've just seen a lot of that on the internet right now, and I'm just like, yeah, but you would see the same thing if it was a white guy, like, you know what I mean? That's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, even when it was a white place attacking a white place with Russia and Ukraine, they still took the underdog.
Over under Jordan Petersen cries.
Oh, he's been crying.
Dude, he's really out there banging the war drum. Did you see him?
Yeah. I know a lot of people
He goes, you fucking you fucking little rats. You're gonna get exterminated. What you to fucking deserve.
Listen up, you towel heads. We're coming after you. Jordan, Jesus, man. We don't talk like that anymore. Don't call people towel heads, man. That's fucking not cool, dude.
Yeah, he's been on one. Dude, I think there is some the right wing people, that definitely like Lindsey Graham and stuff like that. When they were telling him this news, he probably did actually like get a legitimate boner.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They're just like. He's just.
That's the thing, though. I wonder.
Because we're gonna wash the streets with blood. I think one of them said that. That guy's just like, he probably smelt it. He's like, he gets up. He's just fucking so fucking hard.
I mean, again, unless like America is actually at risk, and I mean, I don't know. This isn't even like some hot take or anything, but like, you know, even in 1967, like, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure Israel defended itself against, you know, multiple countries at the same time. So you're like, they have a pretty powerful military.
And Israeli guys are tough too. They have a lot of chest hair.
They got all the stuff. I mean, they have a powerful enough military. I mean, they could definitely defend themselves against fucking the Palestinians, no question. And it's like, if even if Lebanon,
I think your theory is right, that it's so Israel does bad stuff now and then they look even badder. I think that's a good theory.
No, that's like a known theory. They just do that. Like they provoke them.
Seems accurate.
Because everybody's like, oh my God, they like bomb, you know, the Israelis like bomb a hospital. But you're like, that is an actual tactic of Hamas, where they're like, yeah, we keep our like all our weapons in hospitals, right? So that like, because that's safe, because we've essentially forced your hand to bomb a hospital. So even if we lose all our shit,
that's the whole deal.
Then you're like, well, then you just bombed a hospital. So
yeah, they sort of said they think of it differently, where they're just like, yeah, if we all die, that was like for a good cause, so it's actually good. And it kind of does show you how like relative morality is too, because even you just see so many people that are cheering. It's like human brains are so hackable in some ways, because even if you like in real life, any of the stuff you saw, if there was like a guy who went and like, you know, kidnapped a bunch of women and did this or whatever, it would be the news story of the year of like the psychopath killer, like that would Jack the Ripper style, that would have his own like docu-series for years or whatever. Yeah. Whereas there it'd be like, in this scenario could be like, yes, everyone cheers for him like a hero, you know?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, look,
weird.
like there's like a stat where it's like, you know, there's 2 million people in Gaza. 1 million of them are under the age of 18. It's like half of them are basically teenagers and kids. But you're like, they had a war in whatever 2005, which is when Israel left, and then like all those that was, you know, 18 years ago. So yeah, 18 years ago. So you're like, a lot of those probably like kids who like lost their brothers or their parents are now like military age and waiting to like avenge those deaths. Like you're like, what the fuck do you expect?
And that's happened in lots of different places.
Yeah, you're like, I mean, this whatever this is.
That's every movie. What happens is the amount of movies I've seen that the kid was avenging the parent's death.
Yeah. It's like, which I think is pretty normal, like a pretty natural response. I'm like, this is shit's only a matter of, and you know, this will cause a new cycle of this, depending on how long this goes on, where you're just assured that in probably 18 years from now, there will be another one of these.
That's why you need like Bono or something to go in there in the middle of warfare and go, stop, blows a whistle and goes, heal the world.
What do you think?
Make it a better place. And then like, you know, you need a few other people join in. Michael Jackson can't because he's dead right now. But
what do you think if they
for you? Come on, everybody! Me and the human race. Everybody! Now the Muslims heal the world. Now the Israelis. Come on, everybody!
They should build them like when they start rebuilding parts of Gaza. They should build them one of those spheres that they have in Vegas.
That would be okay. Yeah, that's what they're missing.
Just to kind of keep their mind off of things. They got, here's your new sphere.
Man, we're bringing in Ricky Martin. They get the people that are on like the Vegas circuit too.
Yeah. Carrot Top, everybody. Carrot Top gets beheaded within a week. Guaranteed.
All of his brovs are like, sorry, I'm just trying to get ahead in life. All right, now a little something for the Israelis.
Yeah, that's good shit.
So there you go. If you're one of those scumbags that doesn't take care of your oral health, or even if you're not, I got to tell you about Quip. I got a routine because I'm out there, you know what I mean? I'm on the road. I got to bring different things with me. Not enough people floss. That's something that you'll know.
That is true.
And then it comes with, I got to tell you about Quip because they come with mints. Want to enjoy a mint?
I currently have one. Thank you very much.
Let's just be a couple guys enjoying a mint. Nothing wrong with that. Yum. That's the thing. You want to keep that health in check. You want that breath good.
You don't want that stank breath.
That's what the ladies will talk about that behind their back. They don't know that. Good health starts with good habits, and Quip makes it easy by delivering all the oral care essentials you need to care for your mouth. And we got mints, we have gum. It's a solid mint, and you got this is the whole big package you get right here.
Mint dispenser.
We got an electric toothbrush. We got a water flosser, which is that's a highfalutin stuff right there.
I've been using it. It's pretty cool.
We got the mints and gum. Every time you pop our new mints in, you'll be caring for your mouth inside and out. Bold mint flavor keeps your breath confidently fresh, and you get a boost of vitamin D with the mints. The gum prevents cavities, freshens your breath when chewed for 20 minutes after eating. Sugar-free, tooth-friendly xylitol with 0 calories, long-lasting flavor, and slim, travel-ready dispenser. So the Quip electric toothbrush is loved by over 9 million mouths. One of my buddies told me that earlier on, though. Like a long time ago, I switched over because it was what is the biggest change that makes, and he said, you got to get the electric toothbrush.
Absolutely.
And you do it in the shower, too. With stylish and affordable electric brushes starting at just $25, you won't be paying through the teeth for better oral care. So if you go to getquip.com/boyscast right now, you'll get 20% off any electric toothbrush, mint and gum dispenser, water flosser. That is 20% off any electric toothbrush, mint and gum dispenser, water flosser at getquip.com/boyscast, GETQUIP.com/boyscast. Quip, the good habits company. And your health is important to us, which is why I got to tell you about AG1, something that I do every single day. The first thing that I do in the morning is AG1 before my coffee, before you're hitting the gym, before you're running, whatever it is. AG1 can help you if maybe you don't have the best digestion, you're not feeling as focused, you're not, maybe you're not getting enough sleep, whatever it is. You're just not feeling, you're feeling overall stressed, you know what I mean? The body's not in good shape. You've tried the different multivitamins, but then guess what happens? You get off the regimens, you start forgetting about it. You're not going to
run out of one.
You run out of one and that's the end of it. You're not going to do that with AG1. No. If you're a long-time listener, you know I've been drinking AG1 for a while now. When I started drinking AG1, I started to feel a real difference in my daily health, more energy, more focus. That's because AG1 is the foundational nutritional supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, immune system. And since 2010, AG1's led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously redefining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. Not only did I replace my multivitamins with AG1, but I'm a big fan of the fact that every scoop's got probiotics, prebiotics, digestive enzymes, gut support, magnesium, and B vitamins for energy support, adaptogens to balance your body's stress levels, vitamin C and zinc. They've got it all in here, man. The bases are covered. So I tell everybody about it. I've been recommending it to all the friends, all the pals, other people that do podcasts all know and I have had that conversation with people that, you have that conversation where it's like, you do AG1? Yeah, I'm not getting off that stuff, dude. Parents, friends, you name it. So one scoop daily combines what you would normally get from multiple individual supplements and provides comprehensive support for your brain, gut, and immune system. AG1 is the supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs, and that's why we've been a partner with AG1 for so long. So if you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/boyscast. That is drinkag1.com/boyscast to check it out. One interesting thing that I sort of saw, tell me if you agree with this, is the day this happened, because the news doesn't have full control out of everything because Twitter's the one that they can't control to some degree. The day this happened, I noticed 10,000 articles about how Elon Musk's Twitter has so much misinformation.
Oh yeah,
and it was they really do come together to be like, that one's bad. Guys, don't look over there. It's bad. Because people can just kind of...
there is misinformation.
Well, there's misinformation on the news, too.
There's misinformation everywhere.
Dude, if you look at the official Al Jazeera and the official BBC and then the official CNN, these are all the quote-unquote official places, and they're all saying different things.
Yeah, for sure.
Or at the very least, you are saying omitting things and, making your narrative the one.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, people get their news from, the only thing I don't like, my only criticism of fucking Twitter right now, X, is that it's basically just become faces of death. It's literally a gore website now.
It's true.
It's like
You are right though. It's literally you'd see less gross stuff on goat.se.x.
Oh, dude, it's it's brutal.
Found my Diet Coke from yesterday.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's pretty rough. But in terms of misinformation, like that's such a nebulous thing. I don't know. Like, dude, the babies thing that's going on right now. Which
you've been sort of talking about that. Can you give me a little more?
By the time this comes out, okay. So by the time this comes out,
you kept saying something about your preciouses.
Yeah, my preciouses. It was my coins. But by the time this comes out, my 40 coins,
quarters.
By the time this comes out, though, this episode, it'll be 2 days later. The story might be totally different. But so there was like kibbutz. A kibbutz basically got Hamas came in there and like killed all these people, and then this one reporter was like, there was 40 dead babies and they were decapitated, and this is like this one reporter, and then the Israeli official Twitter was like, they decapitated or whatever, like all these babies, and then the reporter was like, well, I didn't see it, but I was told that this happened. And it's like really like it just the story keeps changing, and then all these people are, and I'll even say rightfully so, who are like anti-war people are like, because this could be used as a pretext for like an escalation. So then now we're at the point where all these people are like, I have to see 40 decapitated babies.
I gotta see them.
Like if I don't see 40 decapitated babies, this shit did not happen.
Sure.
Right? And you're just like, I'm like, I don't want to see 40 decapitated babies.
I can't just take your word
And then
for
there's
it.
also people who are like, well, like there's people who are like, well, yeah, it's not like 40 decapitated babies, but it's like even people admitting, you're like, well, it's 40 dead babies, but they like weren't all decapitated. And you're like, I think that's still bad though.
You're still, yeah.
You're like, and it's like, there's just all this like kind of posturing.
Yeah, why don't you just tell us what happened and we'll decide whether we're bad or
I know,
not.
but the problem is that people don't trust anything anymore, right? So people
gotta
are like,
see it.
so like CBS and like even me, like there was like on the community notes was like on the 40 dead babies, people are like, this is false, and then there's a community note saying like it's true, but then the source is Business Insider, and you're like, well, that's a fucking like.
How is that any better? Yeah,
but I don't believe that shit personally either, right? And then they'll be like, CNN said it's so true, but you're like, well, I don't really believe CNN.
They've never got anything wrong.
Yeah, exactly, right? So then you're
On
like,
purpose?
but we're now like at the point when things that are like, I guess considered critical like this, you're like, I guess we just got to see 40 dead babies. Like, I don't know. I don't know the solution to this because nobody is trustworthy anymore. And you're like, the stakes are high.
Yeah, exactly. So you sort of have to.
So I guess
trust your eyes is the closest you can get.
Yeah, but then they're like, well, we're not. But then obviously you're like, well, CBS is not airing 40
And
dead
I have
babies.
sort of a weird thing. Like, obviously, you're Jewish. I don't trust Jews or Muslims. So
No.
it's like, for me, it's even harder.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir right now. But no, it's like that's.
What was the thing that we used to say that when you and your family, was it you and your dad, when you say hi, it was like, hey, you give each other a hug and you both have each other's wallets. You remember that? What was it?
And you're like,
You and your dad.
You old scamp.
You and your dad haven't seen each other for a while. Dad, Daniel. And you give each other a hug. You both pickpocketed the other one. Still got it.
I think it's from The Simpsons.
Really? I thought
that was something. I feel like I've seen something.
We were saying that about you at some point. It was years ago, I think.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, that's like where we're at with a lot of this stuff. Is you're just like, and everything is missing. Every side is like, well, that's fake. Like there's like, here's all these burned bodies, and then they're like, people on the Israel side are like, look, they burned all these bodies, and then people on like the other side of it are like, well, they'll be like, here's a breakdown of why this is fake or whatever, and they're just like, I don't know.
This is one of these wars now are some of the probably most wars that it's been hard for the governments and media to propagandize people.
Oh, it's Twitter is.
They used to be
a
able
real
to,
problem.
Like back in the day, if they were like, "There's 40 dead babies," it was just like everyone in the whole country thinks this, and everyone in a different country thinks something completely different.
When 9/11 happened, you're like, yeah, there's fucking 4 news outlets or whatever. There's 4 news channels and there's 5 newspapers.
What they say is just like,
that's it. I don't know where else are you getting information from. Like that's it.
Some AM radio guy that still can't. He still has to be censored by
whatever, or he has a friend like in Baghdad or some shit who's like giving some sort of contrary information. But you're like, that was it. You're like, and they probably had like the same owners, and if they didn't have the same owners, they definitely all had like the same friends. Like they're all friendly, all these like news organizations, and they just kind of like put out a story, and that was that. And now you're just forced to kind of parse through it. Part of me thinks I'm like, it doesn't even matter though. Like with the 40 dead babies is like, if
people are going to do what they're going to do,
like, yeah, like if there's, the 1% of Twitter who's like, this is bullshit, and the governments are like, yeah, well, 99% of people don't see what you're saying and don't care, and like, I don't
know, some people have pretty big, someone like Jordan Peterson says something that, those things change kind of course of thought.
It could, I guess.
Or Elon Musk. Like if Elon Musk says, hey, this happened, it does change a lot of opinions.
Sure, but like enough opinions to the point where like the Israeli government will change their like, strategies.
Yeah, that's the start of it.
Maybe, I don't know.
The other funny things was,
especially if it's not a provable thing too, like nobody can like a lot of people are saying like, oh, this is bullshit, but you're like, what if you can't literally disprove it? All you're saying is they're lying with no proof, just because. And a lot of the reasons people give for the lying is well, they lied before, like with and they did, like the kids in incubators, like they were killing kids in incubators, which I think was in Iraq or like Baghdad or one of those things. Like, that kind of thing. They go, they lied about this stuff before, so therefore they must be lying. And you're like, well, they could be lying, but so I don't know. This could probably be a while though.
The last couple things was just, it was all of the people that were like yelling at everyone for getting mad at Kanye West. Like, or everyone that was like yelling at Kanye West is now on the other side of it. It's like a pretty funny thing to watch that switch.
Oh yeah.
The people that, dude, it is funny. He's like you have people that would call like me or you anti-Semitic, and he's like,
I've been called anti-Semitic a few times in the past week.
Yeah, I know.
I've got it about 20 times. They didn't like my Israel's 9/11 joke. Just people.
Yeah, they didn't like that. That was weird. The UN women, it's funny, the people that are just trying to ignore it. The thing that happened where everyone was posting the UN women, I put this in my video, and it said trans lesbians are lesbians too. And it was just like, everyone was just like, Palestine, Israel. And they're just like, just so you know, lesbians with dicks, you still gotta suck them, lesbians. Don't be avoiding the lesbians that got a dick, okay? Let's stick to the real issues here.
Yeah.
That just show how far culture's gone, though. Like, some of these places are so off the reservation that that's what like a big world event happens, and what they're talking about is that just make sure that if you're a lesbian, like, you're not out here just only eating box.
Oh, this put a lot of people's bullshit on the back burner.
I put a lot of bullshit on the back burner.
Trudeau, this is a big win for Trudeau, though.
Oh, because he was on the thing.
He was just like at Target fucking number one.
Chopping block, I know.
For a million things, and then all this stuff, and now it's just all water on the bridge.
You are a big. I mean, that's the oldest trick in the book, is the big world event. Like a war sort of washes all your sins away, right?
Yeah, nobody. I mean, dude,
the blood of war washes all the sins away.
The FTX trial would be probably way huger right now.
I know.
Sam Bankman-Fried trial.
He might be Sam Bankman getting freed because people aren't paying attention.
He ain't getting freed, dude. He is so fucked.
I actually have a Sam Bankman-Fried article, but we're gonna do it later, maybe on the Patreon if we don't get to it. But I got it just for you. The other thing, last one on this sort of thing, is that, I don't know if you saw Noam Chomsky.
Yeah.
He has what are the courses called where they do the fancy courses? I've done a parody of one once. Masterclass.
Oh, yeah.
He's a masterclass on fighting disinformation. And it was just like so crazy that the guy who wrote Manufactured Consent is legitimately doing a fucking course on how to make sure that there's no one like disagreeing with the manufactured consent.
Yeah, how do you fight disinformation?
Yeah, I pretty wild.
Like spreading disinformation. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my WNBA thing, I made it on the Community Notes official page.
Yeah, what was
I got so many community notes. I made
You made that?
I made that.
I didn't know you made that.
Yeah, I made that. Okay, and only in like 3 minutes.
Okay.
Shout out to
That's hilarious.
Shout out to Canva.
Well, read it.
I basically just, so when everybody was putting out their when every organization was putting out their like we stand with Israel thing, and then I went to check on the WNBA, which is like the most
unrelated. You just check on it.
Yeah, I just check on it.
See the scores.
Dude, it's the fucking WNBA finals right now. Are you kidding? I want to see what's going on. People are like, is it? It is. But anyway, so I go and check on the WNBA, which is like the most activist organization, like
Obviously.
in sports, like in American sports or whatever. And they're trying to pretend like, you know, we're basically the NBA. So I figured they'd have a statement, and they didn't have one. So then I just made one. And essentially, it was just like a pro-Palestine. Well, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but it's like this pro-Palestine thing. And then I just said, this is a statement from the NBA, and like I literally made it in 5 minutes on Canva. Like it took like no time.
Was it aggressive, or would you?
No, I'll read it. It says, we are horrified by the acts of terror, and I made it look exactly like every other one. So it says, we are horrified by the acts of terrorism being perpetrated against the Palestinian people by their Israeli colonizers. The rape and murder of all those festival goers was a needed reaction to aggressions by their Jewish overlords.
Pretty aggressive.
The WNBA strongly stands with the government of Hamas and the people of Palestine. Full stop.
Full stop.
Yeah. Anyways, and then it started cranking on Twitter, and all these people.
I knew it was fake, but I didn't know you made it.
Oh no, I made it. Yeah. No, I made it. That's a DP original right there. And but anyways, and then I was just like, hope it doesn't get community noted, just because that wouldn't be fun.
But it did immediately, right?
Immediately, I got a community note. But then like,
and then you made it. How do you make it to the front page?
Community notes has its own page. Like there's community notes has it's called Helpful Note, at Helpful Notes or at Community Notes. It's one of them. But there's two community notes pages, or at Helpful Notes, and basically like the best, most helpful community notes make it on there. And I don't know if it's a personal shame of mine or a success. They put me on there.
Well, so one of the things that I thought was interesting, like I just kind of mentioned the Sarah Silvermans in the world, like a lot of people are having, you know, I've seen just a ton of activists kind of be like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. And I feel like I'm just like, I can 100%.
Yeah.
It's like very much in line. It was kind of just like people coming out of a cloud of being like, realizing that, you know, that there's ideology's retarded, you know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, the only thing I couldn't believe of seeing was like the paraglider things or whatever.
I couldn't believe that either.
Was crazy, but then the commercial for the paraglider.
What was the commercial?
I put it in our group chat. It's like, so there was like I thought it was fake, but it's real, and it's literally like a hump, like, you know, like when you watch the Super Bowl and there'll be like a Navy commercial. Or
Yeah.
They had like one of those, but for Hamas. It's like shot properly, like with like good cameras and edited and everything, but it's them just like firing up their like lawnmower dealies as they go paragliding. And it's like join the Hamas like paraglider defense force thing or whatever, and they're just paragliding around.
That's crazy.
Pretty wild.
But it's almost around the same time you started to basically like some of these like New York Times-y types have started to come around that like maybe the shit that they were spewing is retarded. You know what I mean? But New York Times did an article. Anti-racism was never the right answer. It was just like so. I mean, it's an opinion piece, so I guess they do have different opinions. But it's just funny saying like, New York Times, can you imagine New York Times doing probably anything like that, like, you know, peak 2015 or whatever?
I mean, they're probably like, there's
it's Emperor Max Kendi. It was like they're basically finding out he's running like a waste management like money laundering operation essentially. Yeah,
and has like basically no results. Like, there's no results of this.
It's the
like
opposite of results.
It's like a fucking money pit.
Not only is it no results, it made a lot of things worse.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, it's the same as like with the defunding the police thing. It was like you look at the things and they go, more black people were like dead during that time, and it was just like, I think by most metrics you'd say that's a pretty important metric.
Yeah, you think so. You would think so, yeah.
But I thought that just like wild that they did that. And then there's another one. So basically they did an open category for transgender swimmers because it was just, I think the same people would all be like, you know, they just want to swim. It has nothing to do with it. Yes, they happen to be a girl, and be like, so then they made an open category and then none of them would go in it.
Yeah.
So they closed it down because it was 0 people joined the.
Well, that's stupid.
Isn't that funny?
I would have joined it just to take the gold medal. You go, nobody gets me? All right.
I think what has to happen.
I'll be like first open category champion, baby.
You're right, but I think you have to register with the Olympics and do all this stuff.
You gotta do all the stuff.
But yeah, I guess that proves it was never really about just like, I just want to compete.
It was never about I just want to compete.
It was about we're women.
Yeah, but I'm like, nobody's ever not been allowed to compete. It's just the category. So you're like, they've always like, even if you're Leah Thomas, you're just like, yeah, you can compete against men. Nobody's stopping you.
No, of course not. You always could. Girls can compete against men.
But then they're just like, well, it's just like, it's, you know, it doesn't affirm my gender or whatever.
Well, but my point is, it was never about sports. It's about politics and activism, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I've always said kind of, it's a little bit the thing I was saying about the anti-Semitism thing, but I was sort of saying this about with Karens. You always see the thing.
The right?
The Karens nail it.
And anti-Semites.
You always see that Karens are right, yeah.
Yeah.
But people were saying like Karens, like racist or homophobic or whatever, really, or like misogynist. But it was like no, it was that you support an ideology where like white people are bad and that got turned on you. You know what I mean? But they're like, yeah, white men are bad. But this girl, in The Guardian this is the season of crunchy leaves, chunky knits, and pumpkin spice latte misogyny. So her thing is, she's just like, women can't get like lattes without misogyny.
Without getting made fun
and she's saying it's like men, and it's the same thing. You go, no, what happened is you support like anything that like white people do is like bad.
Yeah.
And then people are like, that's a thing that white people do. It's like, yeah, white guys don't do it. And then, it's like mainstream to just make fun of that shit, right?
Yeah, it's just like basic. I mean, even women who drink that shit are like, yeah, I'm like so.
It's like mean humor.
Basic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, it's stupid.
For me, I knock it out of their hands. I go,
I've never tried one of those things. It's fucking disgusting.
No, it's a cup of fucking sugar, dude. $19.
Not only that, but it's like, it's this weird like synthetic, especially if you get the one from like Starbucks. It's like this weird like synthetic
garbage.
Pumpkin. How the fuck are we eating pumpkins? I don't know. I'm not a big pumpkin.
You don't like pumpkin pie?
No, I don't. I don't like pumpkin pie.
What do you prefer, pussy or pumpkin pie?
Pussy, man.
No, come on. You don't know that?
I'm a pussy man.
You go, I ain't never tasted no pumpkin pie. That's the line.
Pumpkin pie, yeah.
She said, pussy tastes like pumpkin pie.
No.
I ain't never tasted no I said, bitch, I never tasted no pumpkin pie. Hit it!
I think I only ate pumpkin pie for like the first time like very recently in my life, actually.
Okay, tell us the review.
Danny's not a fan.
Review, not a fan. So out of 10,
honestly, it's like real old country shit, to be honest. Like
what country? Old country.
Like old country, and like the way that like when you go to like third world old countries and they just like use everything for food because they're just like, yeah, we just gotta use it because we got it.
And then I ate the bowl.
Like yeah, basically you're just like like how like everything is made out of potatoes or whatever in like fucking Eastern Europe or Ireland because just like yeah, we got lots of potatoes, so everything's potatoes.
If you're not familiar with the idea that there's a predominantly male tendency to mock the predominantly female enthusiasm and deride it as basic, and it was just like, no, this, like, I feel like most guys I know probably don't even mention this. It's like, this is like online woman humor that yes, some guys have picked up onto that are into like meme culture, but this is not. This is like not something that any dude I know is talking a ton about.
Yeah, nobody's like walking down the street, see some like white chick drinking a pumpkin spice latte. It's like, hey, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, it's a white chick thing, not like a chick thing.
Yeah.
And other Pinterest board signifiers, women dismissed as vapid, and while men who pour over coffee that tastes like stomach acid in vessels. So she goes on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
But no, what happened was everyone agreed it was like fine to make fun of that stuff. And then they also have another one. This is on your tango. The disturbing colonial history of pumpkin spice. You know what's that one always kind of when we talk about going back in time. What is the disturbing
colonial history of pumpkin spice?
Well, you can probably guess is the pumpkin spices were stolen from someone back in the day. But the thing that they do, and I've had this argument with people in real life too, a lot actually, because they'll say this has like a racist history. But what they mean is at some point in time the thing was used for something bad.
Yeah.
So it's like by that case you are right. If you go the racist history of robes, it's like they kidnapped people in Afghanistan once and they put them in robes. It's always just like
cotton comes from for the robes, lady.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Everything is they go. The racist history discourse is always that there is basically a time where this thing was used.
Yeah.
In conjunction with something bad.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like that doesn't make it.
It's when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail, It's just like, yeah, if you're trying to find the racist history of any product, like you can find it.
I agree, but I sort of disagree because I don't think that makes something like, I don't think that this thing is inherently racist because it was once used for something bad. But you could say that like the serial killing history of knives. And you're just like, oh, you use a knife to cut your sandwich? Like, don't you know that has a serial killing history, a connotation to it?
Yeah, it's the Hitler has a dog thing or whatever.
It's the Hitler has a dog thing. Yeah. You're right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's stupid. But, I mean, again, when you're a blogger, You're fucking grasping at straws to make your deadlines.
No, they're not grasping at straws because they have a racist connotation.
Someone goes, I'm really grasping at straws.
Straws.
Oh my God. What are straws made of?
The word
plastic,
grasp.
rubber, plastic. Oh my God. I have a new series.
Straws.
Straws. What? Straws.
You could definitely come up with that. Oh, it's like the back in the day, the farmers that used to whip the people used to put the piece of straw in their mouth.
Oh, dude.
That's the racist connotation.
Endless options.
Another one that they're wrong about. So actually, if you're not getting what I'm doing right now after this, because I was saying that they're all realizing that their ideology is like falling apart in intersectionality.
Yeah.
I have a list of other things that they've been kind of admitting it almost in the last little while. But they go, is it a red flag if a man has had 4 sexual partners? The current Hollywood debate. And so basically a bunch of girls were online and some girl in an interview basically said, it's just weird if a guy's over 40 and he's only been with 4 girls or whatever.
Chick from the OC.
Yeah, and it was just like, so kind of what the same people that forever have been like, why is it cool if a guy does it and it's slutty if a girl does it? And then like after that dies down, they're like, it's only cool if a guy does it.
I guess. I mean, I would, to be honest, if I was in my 40s or whatever, I guess I'd have to be 60 at that point to date a woman in her 40s. But if she only had been with 4 guys, that would also be weird.
Not really, because what if she was with 2 guys and then married?
Well,
for 10 years?
obviously, if she was in a long marriage, but they preface.
Well,
the
I know,
same
but
thing.
you're sort of into that stuff. You go, tell me their names while I fuck you.
Tell me,
you want
how big were they?
You want to look through pictures of the guys while you're having sex.
No, but I'm saying it's like if a single chick, because that was kind of the context of this. She's like, well, if a guy's like never been married and he's only been with 4 guys, you're like, I don't know. I think that'd be weird for.
It's much less weird. I mean, obviously the guy's married a bunch of times, but my point, you're making the like a point that's you're just saying whether it's weird or not weird. The real point is whether girls find it attractive.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, you would not. Okay, if you were
sus.
If you started dating a girl that was 40 and she goes, "Oh, I've only been with 4 guys," you'd be like, "Ew, what the hell?"
I would just be like,
"That's a little off."
No, I'd be like, "You're a liar." I'd be like, "All right, sure."
Fair, but it wouldn't be a turnoff for you.
No, it wouldn't be a turnoff. No.
Well, that's their argument. Is it a turnoff?
Yeah, it's a turnoff.
The point is they're saying, why is it different? And now all the women are coming together on the internet to like agree that it is different.
Yeah,
and the point is, the moral of the story is that women get to decide what they're attracted to in men, and men get to decide what they're attracted to in women. And women for the last 6 years have been like, no, you don't. We get to decide what you're attracted to in women.
That's why you got to ignore women.
Obviously that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
But it's still funny to
boys.
You can ignore them, but it doesn't mean that doesn't make it right when you're talking about it.
No, that's true.
So if a girl wants to say the sky's green, we can be like, yeah, you can ignore her, but it's also you can be like, hey, look at this, she thinks the sky's green.
Look at this turkey over here. Yeah, it's
right.
It's fun. It's fun to see them twist themselves into knots, though.
Well, it's also funny to see them dispelling their own shit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people agreed with this because it's obviously true that if a girl's like, yes, there's a point where a girl's like, oh, that guy's just been with so many guys. It's like, whatever. It's, he's like one of the, he's like, oh, he's that type of guy.
Yeah.
And there's a certain type of girl that's like, I don't want to be with the guy who's just been like a club promoter for the last 15 years, just smashing every night. But like, most girls do find it attractive that like this guy had his pick of the litter.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. And he picked you at 40.
Fellas, cold turkey might be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits, and we're not talking about some weird mind voodoo magic from your wacky, crazy neighbor. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume. They'd look at the problem a different way. Not every bad habit's wrong, so instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not remove the bad from your habits? Fume is an innovative, award-nominated device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all-natural, delicious flavors. So, listen, you get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing bad habits easy. So you're Fume. You pop it in. It's fun to play with. You got it in the mouth. It does replace a certain bad habit
Yes, it does.
that some people got.
Stinky habit.
Some stinky bad habit that
Gross
some
ass
people
habit.
got. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial. It's designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting. Gives your fingers something to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habits. I do it a lot of times when I'm editing, which I spend a lot of time doing. And they've got a whole bunch of different cores that you can put them in so you can mix up the flavors. I got a whole bag of them, and so I'm always mixing and matching. The Fume looks cool. In addition to being fun to play with, it's got beautiful real wood and a cool shape. So listen, stopping is something that we all put off because it's hard. You know, next year, I'll wait till New Year's. And then they never do they?
No,
they
don't.
never do.
No, they don't.
But switching to Fume's easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served more than 100,000 customers, has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today, which is what I have. Head to tryfume.com and use the code BOYSCAST. You save 10% off when you're picking up the Journey Pack today. Try it out. You go to tryfume, tryfum.com, and use the code BOYSCAST to save an additional 10% off your order today. So we were talking about in UK people going to jail for words and all that sort of stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Which actually, relating back to the stuff we're talking about, if you, it is kind of interesting right now where if you just look at all the things people were getting mad at before, and now you have people being like, good, those girls were raped. And it's like, you just have the people whenever it becomes to war, people are just saying, like, it is.
Yeah, people are giant fucking hypocrites.
And this is kind of the, like, I guess, libertarian-y sort of point that they've been making. It was like, oh, you're offended by words? Like, I'm offended by you, like, slaughtering people by the millions or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, the truth is, people actually do think one's worse. Like, if you went right now and you said, hey, I think this war is really good, and I think that, like, I think more women and children should be murdered, it would be bad, but not nearly as bad as if you just started screaming the N-word.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be nearly as bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just like the priorities are that something like, you know, in the going against the justice realm is way worse than actual,
like actual like criminal transgressions. Or
in
like,
terms of
yeah.
what people see as like cardinal sins.
I
you
guess
know what
it's
I mean?
like the words, like they really do buy into that, like words are violence bullshit.
Like calling Jews a slur to them would
Which
be like
one?
much worse than calling for Jews to be dead, probably.
Well, give me some options.
Well, you say them.
No. I've said them all the time. What do you mean? It's,
I don't know. What would be one? Bagel bosses? Let's just say there's a couple bagel bosses.
bagel bosses are really slaughtering all those Palestinians.
So I just made that one right now. So I could come up with more if you need them so bad.
It's not the one I wanted.
Well, the Swiss writer was thrown in jail for calling the reporter a fat lesbian. Because we said that other thing, that guy
60 days in jail,
guy in
too.
Britain got fired for, you know, saying that he
This
wouldn't
is
smash
jail.
a girl.
This is jail time, though.
Yeah, and he said some other stuff too, but and this guy has been to jail a couple times. He was in jail for denying the Holocaust once.
Oh, okay.
So this guy's he's like a, what do they call? He's like a recidivist.
Truth teller.
No, yeah. He keeps going back to jail.
Yeah, he's a recidivist. Yeah.
He's a recidivist for his speech crimes, right?
Times. I did look at a photo of her. She does look
It's
like
like when he comes in, they go, "We knew you'd be back. You couldn't hold the tongue."
You can't call somebody a fat lesbian. That's illegal. That's
right. A Swiss court's decision to sentence a commentator with 60 days of prison plus thousands of Swiss francs, so it's
Yeah.
not free
Yeah.
either. The danger of criminalizing so
He
this
probably
article's
sublets
arguing
his
against
place
it.
while he's gone, so it probably washes out.
He was convicted for comments made on Facebook 2 years ago where he called some girl a fat lesbian.
But she is a lesbian. I mean, I guess it's like her heft is.
I wonder if that's the thing. Do you argue that in court?
Like she goes,
Like do you go, you bring her on stage, he goes, would you refer to yourself as straight or a lesbian? She goes, I'm a lesbian. Now, body mass index wise, would you consider yourself under the average weight or average weight? So in some circumstances, that might be referred to as fat. Yeah. Now, so you've admitted that you're fat.
He does like that.
You've admitted that you're a lesbian.
He literally brings
Is
up
it a
Webster's dictionary defines fat as. She looks like Rosie O'Donnell, too.
Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, would it be a stretch? And I'm not talking about her pant line. Would it be a stretch? Ladies, he gets fined again. Now he has to go to jail for that.
Yeah.
To say that this is a lesbian who is fat, some might say a fat lesbian? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I rest my case.
Wild. It's wild shit.
It's crazy to have to go. Being that guy's lawyer would be hilarious, though.
You're in jail, you go, show me your paperwork. You know, that's like the thing where you got to show your paperwork to prove you're not like a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you in for? He goes,
so no one
call
goes,
this fat lesbian a fat lesbian.
know what you do? You go in, you bring a bunch of pictures of like really fat people, and he's representing himself, and he puts her on the stand, and he goes, I'm gonna show you a picture of someone. Would you refer to them as fat? And she goes, no. What about this as fat? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to take a look at these photos that she has referred to as not fat. Clearly, this woman does not know what a fat person is or looks like.
Yeah, it's like my 600-pound life. He goes, is this woman fat? She goes,
No. She's perfect.
body positive? No. Never called
Clearly, the ladies and gentlemen of the jury could not find this person to be perfect. I feel like I would have represented this guy good. I would have done that too. I would have had
Well, he probably went full. He probably represented himself, I would guess.
I know, but he didn't do any of the stuff I just said, which he should have done.
Yeah, well, next time. I'm sure he'll be back.
Now, the song Fat Bottom Girls, should they be in jail?
That's a good point.
What if it was Fat Bottom Lesbian Girls? I was watching a film the other day. Fat Lesbian 6. Now, am I to believe that they should be in jail? Should the women who participated be in jail? Should we all be in jail?
Yeah, I mean, you put together a compelling case.
6 months? 60 days.
60 days.
Sorry.
That's
2
long.
months. Dude, that guy in jail, though,
Although
too.
I have a feeling Swiss jail is like,
Country club?
yeah. I have a feeling Swiss jail is not like I heard, that Johnny Somali guy who's in Japanese jail right now.
Who's Johnny Somali?
The IRL streamer.
Good name, though.
Yeah.
No, I don't know who that is.
You haven't really? You don't know who Johnny Somali is?
No.
He's the Somalian guy who goes to Japan and he's just like.
I've seen all the memes where it says, how'd you know it was Somalian? And the guy's just like, because it's so obvious to tell when someone's Somalian.
Yeah, for sure. There's quite a look there. But, really? You don't know about this? It's like, so he was in Japan. He's
Mostly parking lot oriented?
He's an IRL streamer. And he just goes around bothering people. Like, he was bothering people forever. Like, he just kept bugging people. And then eventually...
Oh, in Japan.
In Japan.
Okay.
That guy, yeah. In Japan. He's like bothering people. And then he got knocked out.
People weren't happy about him because he was like really...
And he kept saying like Nagasaki. And like he kept doing that. Like Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
He was basically doing what Tom Green did for 3 days. He was just like... But he was like actually wreaking havoc on them for like years.
Yeah, and he lived in Japan. But anyways, and he was like... Be like Hiroshima, Nagasaki. And people were like, what? But they're so polite in Japan. And then he got knocked out by this like European dude on one of his live streams. But anyways, and then eventually like it was just a huge thing on Twitter. Police just arrested him
for what?
Trespassing. And then but apparently like Japan, it's like their jails are fucking brutal.
Oh, bad.
Brutally bad. Yeah. So like he's basically they have a 99% conviction rate. He's going
so everyone gets convicted guilty.
Literally everybody. And what happens is they basically like torture you into confessing your crime. Like they like deprive you.
I didn't know Japan was that crazy.
Japan's
like that.
Brutal prisons.
What?
Brutal. Yeah. And anyway, so he's gonna like, and they're like he's literally gonna serve full 3 years in like a Japanese prison. Like it's like really bad.
So what kind of stuff is so bad? They put you in a cell with 40 other people.
Like all that stuff. You're literally like you have to just like sit cross-legged for like all day kind of thing. Like
they torture you.
It's like wild. It's like
what?
Really punitive. And they're like he has to go.
Streaming life's tough, man.
Yeah.
Well, that guy's, I guess they were streaming like essentially.
Well, he had a million
trespassing for 3 years.
He had a million warnings too. Like,
still seems
dude,
like 3 years seems like a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But the problem,
if anything, they should just deport him.
Well, they will after he serves his 3 years in Japanese prison.
Rough.
Yeah, pretty brutal. Problem with the IRL streamer guys though is like his videos like of him tormenting people or bothering people.
They're gonna play those all in the court.
That too is funny, but like for when you're those streamer guys, you're like, oh, these are blowing up all over Twitter. I should do more of these.
I know.
And you're like, yeah.
It is. That's kind of what I was saying. Where like, obviously we run like a comedy podcast and are comedians or whatever, but it is just a weird time when something like really bad happens and you're a serious person. Like I was even saying like to Sean Kings of the world, it was like it's this weird incentivization thing where you're kind of your whole business model is like how much you care.
Yeah.
But also your whole business model is whenever something horrific happens, you're going to make a lot of money off of it.
Of course.
So it really is this like. It's hard to like reconcile being that person. You know what I mean? Because you're just like, oh, there's this terrible event in the news. Like, obviously that's good for business. Like but you have to be like,
but that's
crying.
also,
you have to kind of be like crying for how sad it is. But you're I mean, it's that old joke of the guy who runs the funeral home. You know what I mean?
Let's say with like any mainstream news though, too, though. Like mainstream news, like war pops off and they're just like, cha-ching.
Yeah, but that's the difference between the last 7 years or 8 years. It was they used to say like, obviously, yeah, we're reporting what happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't so emo, right?
Yeah.
Now they're all like, they have to, I get why the president's going to go do a speech and, has to, evoke the emotion and all that sort of stuff. But it used to be, yes, I'm covering this thing. I'm a journalist. Like, obviously these are hard. That's what I got into the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the, like, I'm so sad kind of, that's like a genre of news now, right? Where it's like, you're just always heartbroken.
Right.
But it's like,
the Anderson Cooper school.
yeah, that school where you're kind of like, I'm heartbroken. It's like, oh, but my viewers are going to be really high and I'm going to make a lot of money. So it's kind of inherently sort of like a phony thing, sort of.
Do you think when like those first like paragliders thing, does Anderson Cooper literally just get on the phone? He goes, gas up the jet. We're going to Israel. Click.
Yeah.
I wonder.
It's a weird thing. Okay, so there's something really funny that someone said that I got to go through here.
Yeah.
What sexual role play? It's a bit of a divergence from what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
What sexual role play should you try based on your zodiac sign?
Ooh.
So now the zodiac signs. My zodiac sign is Scorpio. Beastie Boys haven't weighed in yet, but I have a feeling what side they're gonna be. Oh, that's actually not true because I think Mike D.
No.
I think Mike D was a big Free Palestine guy.
Yeah, maybe until the rubber hits the road.
I think Ad Rock's very pro-Israel and stuff.
I mean, they're like all children. Like, I think they're like all parents.
They're like New York Jew guys, yeah.
They're like, I think they're like Orthodox Jews.
But he was a big activist, but he died.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine, again, it's like, I know there's one guy on Twitter who's like.
There's a Jews for Palestine thing.
Oh, for sure. Dude, there's this one guy on Twitter. His name's Dan Cohen. And he's like a journalist. He's friends with that guy, Max Blumenthal. And
Who's Max Blumenthal again?
Max Blumenthal.
He goes his name a lot.
He goes on Jimmy Dore a lot. He's just like he works for the Gray Zone. He's just a journalist, but he used to be like a pretty like I think liberal journalist, and then basically just kind of got red pilled. But he's very red pilled on Palestine, and like he's very like anti-Israel. But this guy Dan Cohen like lived in Gaza for like a period of time, and like his Twitter's pretty wild. But he basically is there is a not huge contingent of Jews, but there is a contingent of Jews who are just like, yeah, this fucking Israel brought this upon themselves, essentially,
by pushing the treatment,
by forcing the Palestinians to live in like an open air prison, essentially.
Is that you probably answer this for me because someone said that it was that's true, and then someone said that it was the Hamas that won't let them leave.
No. It's not. No. It's not Hamas that won't let them leave. It's definitely.
Well, they just have nowhere to go.
Yeah, they have nowhere to go. Like, look, there's a border on the like one side with Israel, and Israel's like, we're not letting you in because I mean, some of them work in Israel, but like there's checkpoints, but it's like it's tough to get in and out. Like it's very difficult to move. Like I was actually watching an interview with that guy Dan Cohen, and he's like, there's people in Palestine who are literally granted like U.S. visas to come to America. And then Israel's just like, we're not letting you out. Like, so they're like,
Whoa.
I have a visa I just need to get to the airport.
Why wouldn't they let them out? What's the problem?
Because they're just like, either their paperwork is whatever.
Well, that's bullying.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it's bullying. But it's just, they're super strict about it. And it's just like, it is heavy handed. Now, like, Israel has their, I guess, whatever reasons.
Is there a reason that they're going to plot?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like they can't. It's not like they could like we can go to Egypt either. Egypt doesn't want them.
Yeah, I know.
Like, nobody wants. Yeah, like nobody wants them. So, but I I mean, their main issue,
I think this whole episode we're gonna keep coming back to this.
I guess I don't know, but anyways, they there's a bunch of super just like Jews who are not like into this whole thing essentially.
I know.
Like who are very much against it, and they're just like, but yeah, the open air prison thing is
based Jews, they would call them.
Jews,
I guess there's two different types. There's the based Jews and then social justice Jews that are on the same side.
The social justice Jews lost a lot of people this week. There's gonna be a flag lowering ceremony at some point for all the social justice Jews that.
Well, that's what you said. You said people could finally take down their black sweaters.
There's a lot, but I mean the problem with like Hamas and like obviously this is super contested, but like their charter is literally like their government charter is like we have to annihilate the Jews, and you're like, well, that's not a good negotiating point.
Yeah, because it does make it is a weird one where you're kind of like. If you think of it in real life, where you go,
just think about it. If you're just doing a negotiation,
you go, you need to treat this guy better, and you're like, well, if he takes down his "wants to kill me" sign, I might treat him better.
Yeah, and you go, and
it's like having a neighbor that, like, you know what I mean? He's got signs about how you're the devil and you want to die, and then they're like, hey, your pesticides are blowing on his lawn, and you're like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, or like, dude, imagine if they're like, hey, there's this guy in solitary confinement, and they're like, we should let him out, and you go, okay, but he just keeps saying that if we let him out, he's going to kill us, and you go, well, you should let him out. And you're like, well, we're probably going to wait to let him out until he stops saying he's going to kill us.
See, that's how you kind of see the whole thing.
I mean, that's just like, they could probably go a long way if they remove that one, but that is like one of their core tenets, essentially, is they're just like, the annihilation
and they're saying
it's not even the annihilation of Israel.
Basically the remove the wall sort of situation.
So they're like, okay, well, we could get rid of the wall, and then you're like, okay, but everybody behind the wall is like one of their core principles is they want to annihilate all the Jews. So
and their government sort of
and their government. So you're just like, why would they? It sucks because
and the only reason is like, because it's like a nicer thing to do, I guess, right?
What do you mean?
Well, like the like argument for
it's the humanitarian.
It's humanitarian.
Yeah, it's like, dude, they live in like really shitty conditions in Palestine. Like again, if any American lived in the conditions that the Palestinians lived in,
sort of like the same argument with the reserves.
And it's just like, and it's the problem is like it's the government's doing. It's like, yes, they had an election.
So would it be like in Canada if they had the native reserves and they weren't allowed to leave?
I guess kind of. And then like if the natives were like being kept on there because their whole issue was they're like, yeah, we're gonna murder all Canadians if you let us leave, and then the Canadian government's like, okay, well then we're not gonna let you leave. I guess, yeah, that would be like...
Canadian government probably would let him leave.
Yeah, they'd be like, please murder us. Oh, fuck, please murder us. Oh, fuck, yeah. Oh, there's nothing better than getting fucking murdered by a native.
Love getting murdered.
Land. Oh, fuck, yeah.
Getting murdered is fucking awesome.
But essentially, you're like, it sucks. Like, I mean, Americans would rise up like insanely more violently if they lived in similar conditions. So it's like, I mean, I get it.
We're jumping all around right now, but I gotta tell you this one thing that just because
I love the jumping back to, and so a Columbus mother has been drinking her breast milk.
It's gonna be on the Patreon.
Why are you spoiling it?
I wasn't jumping into that, but they have a college degree. This is kind of a relation. It reminded me again of the influencer thing. If you want to be an influencer, there's now a college degree for being an influencer.
Nice.
But we're loving the idea that it's like, how to cry, how to do an apology video, and then how to apologize for your apology video. It's just like all that stuff.
Yeah. How to get in trouble properly.
Yeah. How to, like, they give you a course in like being that Johnny Somali.
Salami.
Fake crying, like, how to get the tears rolling, you know what I mean? How to find the current events that you're supposed to be heartbroken by.
You think there's any actors plotting another Imagine video?
They should do a fucking course on how to respond to Israel Palestine and the influencer thing.
Oh, you think they're cooking up another Imagine song?
That's a tough one though.
Like, you think there's like a fucking like round table of all of like the stupidest actors in Hollywood? It's just like Ruffalo and all those types. Just like around like a...
He's gonna ruffalo some feathers if he does this one.
He had a good statement, actually.
What did he say?
This was just down the middle, It's like very fine people on
condemn
both
violence?
Very bad people on both sides. It's the opposite of the Trump.
Guys, they're both bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is funny just having an influencer course and they teach that sort of thing. Yeah, Ruffalo. Who are the other Affleck? Yeah,
Jennifer Garner maybe.
And they just all get together. And I know what they should do for this one. Sort of like a rap. I think would be good. they sort of do 8 Mile, like, dun, 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 dun. And we're like,
do you see not to get too off topic?
what do they want? 2-state solution sort of thing?
Who?
Like Affleck? What do you think Affleck wants?
Oh, Affleck? Yeah, they just want peace, man. They don't have any ideas.
Just want peace, man. Peace in the Middle East, brother.
We haven't talked about the Tupac stuff, have we at all?
What's the Tupac stuff?
They found
I did a video about it.
Well, they found his killer, but then also now they're saying
it's P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. He's literally being like P. Diddy.
That's what people are always saying, man.
Yeah.
Eminem in the end of his diss track goes, you know what I'm saying, Diddy.
But I wonder if
he's not going to jail.
I don't know.
Dude, that's fucking probably super circumstantial. One guy's fucking testimonials.
Well, that guy might have I mean, I guess if he got paid in cash, I don't know. Hopefully.
Exactly. He probably has no paper trail.
I mean, P. Diddy got off a fucking gun charge.
P. Diddy's not going to jail for that. You can mark my words, man. I'll fucking, you tell you what, I'll post a fucking full out pro-Palestine if Diddy goes to jail. No, I take it back. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
That would be a bet. That'd be a real bet, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh, I get to choose your post.
No, I got to do pro-Palestine. You do pro-Israel. I guess pro-Israel's the easy one.
Pro-Israel is a little easier, but it would. I still think that no matter. I think that this is the thing for me. It's like, I'm not fucking Jewish or Palestinian, so like Israel, and I'm not religious, so Israel doesn't really have a specific significance to me.
No.
So I know this is like the hottest one, but to some degree it does.
It's just another Ukraine, Russia.
Maybe more bigger than that.
Yeah.
But like it is another thing.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
I don't. It's just. You know what I mean? I don't see this necessarily as that different than other conflicts because I don't know. I'm just not. I have no connection to
the
it.
The only thing I would say is greater is that
Not even American.
The,
like, you know what I mean?
The U.S. is definitely would be itching to get into this one more.
But then that's the same thing. I have the same opinion on that.
Yeah.
as
But I'm
the
saying
other
I guess
one.
maybe just slightly more gravity to it, just because the U.S. is
Like, I'm not posting a stance on this. Just like I'm not going to post. Well, we need to support Russia or Ukraine. It's just. Yeah, I think my stance would be to some degree that I do. If I have anything to actually say about it, I mean, usually my interesting things to me are like how people react to it. But then I would say on the real, obviously my stance is I don't love the idea of like all the Warhawk types just like getting real fucking trigger finger itchy to get into World War III cooking, right?
Yeah, they really are. Although it's good for the economy.
And it's almost like they're falling for the thing. Like you said the thing earlier where, you know, they're basically doing this. So it reacts. It's like they're falling for the trap to some degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anything, if you want to really, you know, I guess their idea is, well, we want to make sure this never happens again and we'll just like wipe them all out. And it was just... I don't know if it's going to be that easy.
I mean, that was something. I think the editor of Breitbart literally like broke the Sabbath to be like, we should fucking genocide them all. People are like, yo, chill, dude. Go back to your fucking...
Broke the Sabbath?
Dude, he literally was like, I literally broke the Sabbath, tweet this. And he's like, we should kill every last one of them and turn it into a fucking parking lot. See you guys in 2 days. And then just left. And you're like, chill, dude.
Anyways, back to praying.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like when I was at... I was in Toronto and I was buying a carpet. I probably told you this, but I was in Toronto and buying a carpet, and there was a guy. I was the only one that walked into the store, so it was a Muslim dude, and he was doing his prayers.
Yeah.
And he was like, and he kind of gave me like a, hey, can you wait a second? So I basically sat around for 2 minutes while he like prayed on the rug or whatever, and then went right from his last pray to, okay, we got the best deals in town. Like, what do I need? My friend. We got green rugs. We got brown rugs.
Was it one of the rug stores that's always going out of business?
It was on Lansdowne. Yeah,
was it one of my favorite thing? I don't know if that's
they
the thing
do go out of
everywhere.
business a lot.
Well, no, but there's in Toronto. I think it was in the East End on like Gerrard or something. But there was all these like rug stores, and their whole deal was that they're like, we're always going out of business. Like that's the selling point.
Oh,
they're not actually going out of business because
those dude have a lot of turnover. Those Lansdowne stores.
No. This one like was near my house when I lived over in the East End, and like legitimately like for 2 years it just was going out of business. And you go, oh, this is just your sales tactic.
Screwed you on it.
I never bought a rug from them.
That must have fucking grinded your gears when you bought a rug and come back a year later. Wait a second.
Well, that's when I was like, well, I gave you the chance to go out of business on your own. Now I'm going to have to do it. Sorry, man. And then I opened my own rug store next door.
You're forcing my hand.
Sorry, man. A deal is a deal.
Are there any lesbians that own rug stores? Carpet Emporium.
You'd think there would be. Just one with a good sense of humor and a little entrepreneurial spirit would open up a carpet store.
Okay, I got to tell you about the role play thing because there's some good ones. What sexual role play based on your zodiac sign? So they've looked at the moon and they've done some analysis on the moon and when you were born, and they've decided what role play you should do during sex. Have you ever done role play during sex?
No.
No.
Not really.
I've role played a guy that's in a pretty big hurry.
Yeah, actually, I take it back. Yeah, I roleplay a guy who came too quick and really wants to go to bed.
Yeah, I role play a guy who has an emergency he's got to get to after this.
Yeah, so I roleplay.
You never role play the guy that your buddies just. Back in the day, I remember we all used to do this, but it was always like we were at a chick's house, and then you'd be like, you say your buddy got in a fight, and there's this whole thing, and I gotta go pick him up or like bail him out of jail. Like you'd always have this big like story about why something happened with your friends that you had to get out of there.
Yeah, you could roleplay.
So I've role played that. That was my best acting role I've ever done.
That's a good one.
Just stressed out like, he's gonna need my help. Like, oh fuck, those guys are gonna get it.
Yeah. Here's a good role play with a girl. You go, you want to role play? She goes, sure. He goes, so what's your name again? It's like we just don't know her name. So, why don't we role play?
Yeah. I'll role play a guy that can get it up. So they go, there's a couple funny ones. So Taurus, they say pizza delivery guy, for example. They go,
did you cut the hole in the pizza?
I think you have to do that. You go, it's a sign. Can you imagine doing that with your chick, reading this and just being like, pizza's here? Like, so they go, but the reason they make it, they go, the sign with comfort, consumption, and carnality. So consumption if you're Taurus. But what I want to obviously do is ours, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So those, I'm just giving you a couple just to tell you the type of stuff. Gemini, cheating. They go, Geminis who are born harmless and mischief, naturally inclined towards duality. They love the scenario where their partners pretend to be unfaithful lovers. That's it.
Right.
That's a weird one to do, the cheating fetish though too, and you're just like, yeah, I won't tell her, I never do. Like going hard on it. Yeah. Okay, so but you are Sagittarius, right?
Yeah. December.
Okay, then just November 22. So this is what Danny's supposed to do. Strangers in the night.
Strangers on the night.
So this is, let's see if you have any interest in this as a Sagittarius. It's a sign defined by the need for freedom. That seems like you a little bit. You like freedom.
I like freedom.
You know, that's why you're always wearing track pants.
Yeah, man. Love good freedom.
No boxers, no briefs.
No.
Freedom.
Free balling.
One whose inner world looks so much like an open mouth of a 2-lane highway. So they're painting you as sort of, you're less free than they're painting you as, right?
What does an open mouth of a 2-lane highway mean?
Like, I think that I'm sort of picturing like you just on the open freeway.
Just on the road.
Yeah, just on the road, your hair, you know, the yarmulke is blowing off in the wind sort of thing.
Adjusting my clips.
As you're in the convertible. I can picture you as a convertible at some point in your life.
Yeah.
Honor this spirit by planning to accidentally meet while both partners are passing through a nameless town. So you and your chick
That sounds like so much work.
you pick a gas station. I know this.
So we arrive there independently of one another?
I think to save money, you'd want a carpool though.
I was going to say, my girl's also a Sagittarius, and she's also Jewish. So just the logistics of that would be a fucking nightmare. She goes, so what? I'm going to leave the other car in the lot? And then what? And then we meet at the inside at the convenience store part of it, and then and then we meet, and then so what? We have to go leave, and then we have to come back and pick up the car again?
Dude, Jewish.
Let's just do some missionary and just get it over with.
What? Yeah, you explaining? You're like, we're new passengers in the night. What? What? With the prices of gas right now? Have you seen the price of gas?
This is a pay lot. We're not doing that.
You drive home.
I'm like, okay, we got to be quick. They're charging by the hour for your car.
You're too cheap for this one. So you'd have to cheat. You'd have to find like a town that wasn't, so on in the spirit, planning to accidentally meet while both partners are passing through a nameless town. Pick a gas station. You can also have seen the argument is like, But we're in Brooklyn. This isn't a nameless town. Well, we have to pretend it's nameless. I'm looking at the town. It says, welcome to Brooklyn.
It's the 5th largest city in the United States. What do you mean?
Pick a gas station. Pull up at the same time, pump, and then you take it to the bathroom. That's the bathroom of a gas station.
God. Dude, I saw on my road
this
trip.
one's not designed for you.
Dude, I saw,
take 2 separate cars to the fucking the gas station and then go in. Can I have the key to the bathroom, please?
Dude, we saw a bathroom in Utah when we were driving to Vegas that was so disgusting, a public bathroom, that me and my girl just peed outside behind it. It was the nastiest thing I've ever seen in my life. We're supposed to fucking smash in that thing?
You're supposed to smash in that thing. And it says if you don't want that, you go to the nearest motel, or you do a hitchhiker stranger scenario. Also works. No names, no rules, no regrets. It said.
But what do you do after the hitchhiker scenario? You just
drop her back off.
And then what, pick her up 5 minutes later?
I think
like
so.
You didn't do any of
you
that?
leave the character, you take the fake hat off.
Yeah, all right, that was all right.
And you have to do like, you kind of do a Gentile voice when you...
Hello. Hitchhiker.
What? We're not doing the voices. I'm looking for a ride. So that's yours.
Okay, what's yours?
Leo. Famous celebrity. Oh, I forgot this one. I forgot that this was mine. Famous celebrity is what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
By the way, you go, oh, you're Brad. Making your girl, I don't think it'd be weird where you go, I'm Brad Pitt, and she's like, you're so hot, and you go, what the fuck is you're into Brad Pitt? It's like too specific.
Yeah.
You being another specific person
You
seems
have to pretend.
ridiculous.
Yeah, to pretend to be like. I thought role playing was about the scenario. You're not like.
Also, I come in, I go, I'm a famous celebrity. She goes, which one? I go, Ryan Long.
Yeah. Hello. Yes, but I fuck him all the time.
Oh yeah, you don't like it enough. Fake it till you make it. Sunbeams. Low-key already act like... Oh, Leo folk already low-key act like they're famous. So it says Leos already act like they're famous. In this scenario, they play the part of a famous musician, an artist, actor, or porn star, while their partner fulfills the role of adoring fan.
I'm Ron Jeremy.
And the partner...
Want a drink?
Adoring fan, bodyguard, or journalist. So she plays your bodyguard, I guess.
What?
Touched by the adulation, the star questions designs to make dreams come true with a private performance, autographs, and orgasms go off. So the private performance, like you sort of pull. You've done the private performance where you pull out the acoustic guitar and pretend you're John Mayer.
Girl makes you fucking sign an autograph. That's like, you're like, I hate this. This is your birthday present. This is literally your fucking birthday present.
I want an autograph. Yeah. Okay, this one doesn't work very good. Yours is funnier.
Yeah.
Runner up for Leo roleplay is a hot monarch. Bring me the sluts, my liege.
This is nothing guys are.
Yours is more Capricorn.
Yeah.
Ready for what Capricorn is?
Okay. Capricorn. Landlord tenant.
Oh, this is you coming in. You go, you're late on the rent. And she goes, maybe there's something I can do to make that rent disappear. And you go, wish I could help you.
Yes, pay the interest and the late fee.
I wish I could help you, but
Yes, pay the interest, the late fee, and give me 6 months checks going forward. Good day to you. She goes, that was knocking in my radiator. Can you fix that? He goes, I'll get right on it. Walk right out. Landlord tenant.
landlord tenant.
That's good shit.
Yeah, landlord tenant. Those are the only ones that I wrote down. Strangers in the night. Okay. And then we'll talk about the Sam Bankman Fried thing after too. But this was we got to play this. I already sent you this in text, but
yeah, there
was the MAGA rapper kid.
Oh my God.
So it's basically this kid, he's homeschooled and he's rapping, but it's all, hold on. This guy is fucking great.
Toby Jim's coming in hot. What are we talking about? What is the plot? If you are a Susie, you can't be a Scott. I know it's a doozy, can't be what you're not.
Two gender! DJ, two genders, roll that back. This kid's dad's definitely just like coming into his room. It's like, hey, did you pwn any libs today or not?
You're not running any bars, huh?
Hey, listen, you're not going to be able to have dinner unless you pwn at least 5 libs. You have to do half an hour of pwning libs every day. The caption is 11-year-old rapper sets the record straight. DJ Two Genders, roll that back. Boys are girls and girls are boys.
He's not the worst rapper.
Islam is right about women. Feminism's cancer. He's setting the record straight. Stop interrupting him. Two genders. Two genders getting to heaven. That's what he said.
Not where you're going, that's hellgate. They gon' have fun with your show, gon' be jailbait. There's only 2, you put more weight, it felt great. I'm homeschooled, I don't follow them. They look like alien hollow men. He coming back, he gon'
You know that one?
No.
He's saying trans people look like alien hollow men.
Oh, hollow man.
This guy's going.
It's going hard.
I don't follow them. Do you think his dad helped him write this or no? That's the question.
He's a talented kid. If
You're liking him?
If this is all on his own, like this seems like he must be like a prop for a lot. He's obviously rap, but I don't know.
Do you think Dad cried when he heard it? The bars?
This is fucking amazing.
He's homeschooled too, so you have to think that like this is one of his courses.
Yeah, this is like his second period class right here. It's Conan libs.
them. I follow God and I'll never acknowledge them. I look around, I see a circus. All of these Chinese are making me nervous, but I serve a
Goes
God
hard.
and I got a purpose. All of these demons will burn in the furnace.
Every day new genders. I post the truth to the youth and you sense.
I think his dad's on the
All
way.
right, get rid of me, do better. It's 2023 and still there is only 2 genders. 2 genders. I quote the facts, you delete, you too tender. Man, y'all gotta do better. I love the Bible and it says there's only 2 genders.
I love the Bible and it says there's only 2 genders.
Does the Bible say there's only 2 genders?
I'm not sure. It probably says
Probably
there's
says
boys and
there's-
girls.
Oh, there's just man and woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is true.
Do you like that guy or no?
not
Would you
bad.
go to his concert?
I saw a little Muslim Palestinian kid actually who was also a rapper who was
What
like
was he rapping
in
about?
Gaza, just freedom, and he was pretty good too actually. A lot of good rapping kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his name was like MC Abdul.
Mm-hmm.
I think his name was. 2 of them should pair up.
You got to check out him. Yeah, bring MC Abdul next time. See what he thinks.
Yeah.
Those freaks that queers for Palestine. MC Abdul probably doesn't
I
like
think that's what
queers
his
for
name was.
Palestine.
MC Abdul, pretty sure.
Okay. I got a lot of stuff at the patreon.com/theboyscast. Come through every week. Bonus episode. You already know what it is. Peace.
Later.